There's one strange thing I've noticed. The more people try to treat depression, the more of it there seems to be. And almost no one talks about how to actually get out of it. But the truth is, your state is not the problem. It's the only thing that's protecting you. There's an issue that almost no one is talking about: the widespread use of pharmacology to improve emotional and mental states. The classic set of symptoms: burnout, apathy, irritability, loss of interest in life, and very quickly, you're given a prescription. But what's really happening? You go to a specialist, you get a prescription, and you enter a process that can last for years, where no one promises recovery. At best, you get stable remission, because no one is actually trying to cure you. The approach to treating depression is constantly changing. Even the definition of mental disorders keeps expanding, which essentially means medicine itself doesn't fully understand what this is, how to measure it, or how to treat it. If you had come in with the same problems 50 years ago, they would have removed a part of your brain. And at the time, that was considered effective treatment. Today, that role has been replaced by therapy and antidepressants. Times have changed, and pharmacology has become a market. So think about it. What kind of business benefits from solving your problem permanently? You're no longer a patient. You become a subscriber, a monthly subscription to pills and sessions. And what's even more interesting, in a number of studies, the effectiveness of antidepressants is only slightly higher than placebo. But this is rarely talked about. A large part of long-term improvement is actually linked to the placebo effect. Placebo is one of the most studied and surprisingly effective mechanisms. But only when you're taking a simple substance like glucose, not powerful psychoactive drugs. Many modern medications affect the same systems in the brain and the same neurotransmitters as substances like MDMA or amphetamines, just in a milder and slower way. And a bit later, I'll show you one practice that I use myself to bring the system back into balance, without pills and without complicated therapy. There's another important point that almost no one thinks about. Psychiatry often measures success not by recovery, but by reduction of symptoms. And this is where the most important part begins. Depression is not a malfunction. It's protection. When the external environment becomes too overwhelming and overloads the psyche, a defense mechanism is triggered. It reduces sensitivity, so you don't burn out. Imagine the electrical system in your house. Depression is not a system failure, it's a blown fuse. When the load becomes too high, stress, pressure, meaninglessness, conflict, the inability to change your situation, the system overheats. The same thing happens to you. When your energy drops, motivation disappears, emotions become dull, engagement fades. It feels like something is broken, but in reality, this is a protective shutdown to prevent a complete collapse. That's why sometimes not feeling is the only way to survive. I've been through this myself. When you wake up and feel nothing, not bad, not good, just empty. And you think something is wrong with you, but it isn't. The system doesn't leave anyone untouched, and it doesn't break you directly. It does it more subtly. It leaves you in a state where you can function, but you can no longer fully feel, think clearly, or strive for freedom, growth, and genuine happiness, the very things you were meant for. You become stable enough to continue existing, but not alive enough to change anything. And if this is a protective mechanism, then the goal is not to suppress it. The goal is to gently restore balance. And there is a way I've tested on myself. It doesn't require pills, but it directly affects your physiology and your state. These are breathing practices. You might ask, how can this help in stressful conditions? Maybe you've tried diaphragmatic breathing or simple patterns like 4-4-4. But this is something different. Have you ever seen athletes training with oxygen masks? Do you know why they do it? To create an oxygen surplus in the body, forcing internal systems to work harder and pushing the brain into a different mode. Later, during competition, they perform the same actions but without the mask. And suddenly, it requires much less effort. In yoga, there's a concept called prana, which literally means life or breath. For them, controlling the breath means controlling life itself through energy. There are specific breathing techniques that can saturate your blood with oxygen, increase your energy, improve stress resistance, and enhance both physical and mental performance. And one of these methods is the Wim Hof breathing technique. It consists of 30 deep breaths followed by a full exhale and holding your breath for as long as possible. Then a deep inhale held for about 15 seconds. That's one cycle. Usually, 3 cycles are enough per session. In the full Wim Hof method, cold exposure is also used. But for now, breathing alone is enough. There are many guided videos online you can follow. Or, if you're interested, I can make a more detailed breakdown of the method.